Mark, Johnny brings it up there. You made the decision to go public with the fact that you had suffered from depression, and I feel like not enough people can ever do that in sport in particular, because everybody watches sport and we hold sports people up as, well, they're immortal for a few seconds whenever they win or they do something amazing. But actually the truth of it is that life is messy and really difficult and very hard, and that must have been difficult enough to go public with the decision.
Yeah, I suppose going public at the time, I'd been away and I'd taken a break from the game for a while. I'd obviously been in St. Pat's mental hospital for a while as well, and I just got myself back together. And I had told some of my friends at the time, and obviously, like when you tell if any more than two people know something, it's too many, obviously, you know. So like some people knew, some people didn't. I was a little bit paranoid going back into the weigh room in Gore on the first day I started back as to who knew and who didn't know. I had said originally I was out with my appendix, and I just spoke to Adrian McGoldrick, our doctor, or the Turf Club doctor, who is unbelievable, and you know I can't thank the man enough for what he's done for me. Now. You know, yeah, who's retiring at the end of the year, but like he's been so good to me and to all of us. But I rang him and I said, look at Adrian, I'm a little bit worried about going back into the weigh room. I'm a little bit paranoid about who knows and who doesn't know, and I don't want to lie to people. And he said, well, would you like to do something in the Race and Post? And I just thought about it for an hour or two, and I said, look at here goes. I done it for myself, nobody else. You know, I done it for my own conscience, really. Just I wanted people to know, and I can move on.
And it was handy now because everyone knows. I don't have to text 50 people.
Exactly.
Just everyone reads the Race and Post in the industry.
Everyone got it, but it was much bigger than what I had thought it was going to be, and like I think thankfully it's helped an awful lot of people.
And do you know why it's bigger? Because everybody knows somebody who has suffered from depression or who is suffering with depression, and it's this awful Irish thing we have where we keep stuff bottled up, and then somebody breaks ranks and everybody goes, yeah, me too. I have exactly the same story.
Absolutely,
you know?
And the amount of text messages that I got from people that I'd be seeing every day and say, look, I've been through it myself. Do you know, I was gobsmacked to see the amount of people that had gone through it, and like at the time I thought I was in this hole that I was never going to get out of, and like I genuinely thought at the time I was the only person that was struggling from this, you know, like nobody else can feel this bad, but like it's as common as the flu, you know. It's just it is what it is now. It's common, and like the more people that talk about it now, the better, and hopefully.
And do you feel part of that, like that movement that we have become more articulate as a country and better as a race of people at helping people to talk about it, to deal with it, and to just normalise the fact that it's as common as a flu? And it's actually, you know, for the people who are suffering, it's a massive deal, and for their family. But for the rest of us, all we should be trying to do is help. It's like not actually any of our business, and there should be no stigma attached to this.
Absolutely, and like that, the more people talk about it, and like even doing things like this, just one person might hear this and get something from it, you know. So the more we talk about it, the better, definitely, you know. And just have to keep talking about it, I think.
Yeah. I do find sometimes that people come out with their stories, and that's the one part of it that they didn't expect, that they're kind of thrust into the role of unofficial spokesperson for whatever it is they're talking about, and you know, you're busy dealing with your own stuff, and then suddenly it's like, well, the media are ringing you up going, here, listen, I need you to tell that story again. Yeah. Maybe put a bit more sorrow into it for us.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like, it's something I get a lot of now. You know, anytime something goes wrong or something, and even after winning the Galway Plate, I suppose it was just like the word depression was brought straight back into it. But you know what? I don't mind, because the more the word is used and people hear it, the better.
The bad thing about that is, well, like there are hundreds of jockeys or whatever, like, and when Mark Enright, like I will always associate Mark Enright with the lad who was admitted publicly that he had depression, but like there are 50 other jockeys who have or had depression in Ireland or England, or many more. Like the study was done, and it's actually very, very widespread, and it's probably a sport that half leads itself, because you know you're often starving yourself a lot, you're under immense pressure, it's very, very difficult. And Mark Enright, it's kind of like that no footballers are gay because no footballers ever come out gay. That's clearly not the case. There are a lot out there. It's just that Mark was brave enough and was in the right place, I suppose, to tell his story. So it's a lot more common. It's just others are just dealing with it in a different way, which is fair enough.
And it definitely feels like racing as a community is ready to deal with that kind of stuff. Like, it feels like, I mean, there's definitely a macho element to the in the past anyway, when we would have spoken to people, they wouldn't have been too keen on the science of dietitians and all that kind of stuff. And you're thinking, but that's madness. Like, of all of the world, you guys need your nutritionists and your dietitians and your, like, You should all be weighing out how much vegetables you're having, as opposed to I'm having a square of chocolate today and a black coffee tomorrow.
The mad thing as well, if you read Robert Inca's book, who was the German keeper who sadly took his own life, like he was in a chronic, really, really, really bad with depression, yet he could go out on a football pitch and basically nobody would know.
Yeah.
And he was still able to perform. He was just, for that 90 minutes, he was able to mask it, which I think is really, really important for people. It could be anyone who has it. And always ask somebody, you know, how is he or how are, but ask them a second time, how are you really? Like, I've just noticed you're a bit quiet, like, are things all right? Like, because you do have to look out for people. It could be anyone, you know, and the fact, like, for depression to be taboo is just absolutely ridiculous, because it's, the percentages are so high, do you know what I mean? And it's just a part of our complexity.
I think the thing as well is people always say, you know, you need to talk and you need to tell people, but a lot of the time, for me personally, definitely anyway, it was, what do I tell someone? I don't know what's wrong, you know, I don't know why I'm feeling like this, like how do I verbally get it out there, what do I say to someone? But I suppose you just have to tell them, I don't feel quite right, and you know, you maybe seek the help of a doctor or someone, but just definitely get it out there to someone that I'm not 100%, you know.
It came out by accident for you.
It came out. I had a breakdown. It was very weird. One Sunday I was walking home, and like I was to be honest, I was almost at the point of no return. And I was walking home from the town, and it was the only day. It was the year Mark Walsh was flying. He was almost champion jockey, you know. And it was the only day that year that Mark had no ride. He had a ride every other day. It was a Sunday.
Hard to think, like.
A Sunday in Naas, and every other day in Naas he'd have a full book of rides, and I was walking down to get to my house. I had to pass Mark's house, and I just seen his car there, and I said, sure, look, I'll go in and have a cup of tea with him. And I was as low as I had ever been, and called in for a cup of tea, and I just broke down into the cup of tea, and you know, it all flooded out, and you know, thankfully Mark rang Adrian McGoldrick, and he came over, and
Mark is one of these lads, like, who to my mind is the most talented jump jockey in Ireland at the moment, but he's very quiet. Certainly is to the press, but he was there that day.
He was there that day, and
things like that.
He's actually godfather for my little daughter Sophie now. You know, he's as good a friend as anyone could ask for. You know, he's a brilliant fella.
It is mad, the little things that help you along the way to get out of whatever hole you're in, and you just hope again that anybody who has found themselves in those difficulties does reach out and does find help and does find somebody like Dr. McGoldrick, who's kind of ready to help, and does find a mate like you found, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
If you think as well, like, we all came from a little thing that came out from under the sea, and we all evolved into the humans, how could we not be a little bit complex? Do you know, how could we all be perfect? It just doesn't work like that.